Questions. You know I'm nosy. Do you color in between the lines? And do you make the border of the puzzle first? Or do you hate standing in line? The answer to those questions say a lot about how you feel about boundaries, and specifically your personal boundaries. So today is part 3 of a 4-part series on the shadow work. Last week we talked, well, the first one we talked about just defining shadow work and what it is and how it serves us. And then last week we talked about shadow work and people pleasing. So today we'll focus on not just setting healthy boundaries, but keeping them, which is the bigger challenge. Shadow work and boundaries are intertwined because they lead, or they are, I should say, the process of bringing awareness so that we can create emotional well-being, which is really important to overall quality of life and health and all of that. So in our journey through shadow work, we can again begin to heal, become empowered, so that we can uphold our boundaries. Again, this is really important to create emotional resilience. I love that word, resilience. It means the ability to adapt and to recover from challenging experiences so that we learn the lesson and are able to move on, right? So we can release the negative emotions that come with it and move forward, right, with this newfound knowledge. So lack of boundaries can lead to burnout, frustration, unhealthy relationships, and so much more. Boundaries are the emotional and psychological limits that we set in our lives so that we can maintain our sense of self. Maintaining our sense of self looks like in the boundaries area, and these are just 3 of many, saying no, which we talked about in a previous vlog, and the ability to prioritize self-care over serving others, as well as speaking up. And this is probably one of the most challenging ones. When somebody is disrespectful with their words or their actions, to have the courage to be able to speak up and say, I will no longer allow you to speak to me or treat me that way any longer. And that takes a little practice. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Okay, so now the part I know you've all been waiting for, dun, 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 the 1, 2, 3s about setting boundaries. So number 1 is to share them with trusted people. Find your tribe. It will be a small group of people. We can have a lot of people in our lives, but generally 1 or 2, I like triads. And these are people who love and support you, and they also have good language, and they're also willing to do their own work at the same time. So that's your trusted people. So share your boundaries with them. Number 2, role play with them. So before you go into a situation that you think you might lose your boundaries and not be able to stay strong, practice role playing as the other person, someone again with this trusted group that you love and appreciate, and they love and appreciate you. And then step 3 is to remember to be kind to yourself in this process. The older we are, the harder it is to set and keep boundaries, because these old voices, that intrapersonal communication, keeps running amok in our head, not in a healthy, well-being, empathy kind of supportive way, right? Exactly the opposite. So when I say be kind to yourself, be aware of your triggers, any negative emotions, and also, feelings of failure. Because when you become aware of these, then you can get emotional resilience, meaning you can learn to adapt, overcome, and achieve a new sense of the way you speak to yourself, a new sense of how you let others speak to you and treat you, which then leads to the emotional well-being and the fluent, abundant lifestyle that you deserve. And that all begins with time with me. We are already on session 3. This is my work, as you know. I'm Graniel, the founder of Truespeak, the author of 3 international best-selling books, and so much more. I can help you. I can show you the light. I can hold your hand. and so much more. But it all begins with a chat. So be brave and take time to hop on my calendar. It can be found anywhere. It's in the notes. It's in my link tree. It's all over the place. So I'm looking forward to spending more time with you soon. And until then, stay happy and healthy, my friends.